InStitches show. It's time to add the border to our 2019 folk art calendar blanket. I've enjoyed making this project so much this year, and I've been saving this specific border for this specific project. This is the two-stitch, or in this case, the bicolor two-stitch. It's one of my favorite border concepts, and I think it sets off a folk art painting just perfectly. It looks its best with two starkly contrasting colors. I've gone with black and white, but you can use any light dark combination you choose, especially if you're trying to use up some of the yarn you've got in your stash, or maybe there were a couple of balls of yarn you bought specifically for this project that you just want to use up because you don't necessarily want them hanging around as we head into 2020. So, bicolor two-stitch. It's really simple to do. It's only 3 rows long, and by the time you get to the 3rd row, you'll be flying. So it won't take you very long to get finished. This year's blanket was honestly a work of art, and a lot of you have been sharing your photographs with us on Instagram and Twitter and over at our Etsy shop. Thank you! Keep them coming! We have enjoyed looking at everybody's version of this blanket so much. Everybody has put their unique spin on it, and everybody's blanket looks like an honest work of art. This is the 4th calendar blanket that we have made now here on the Jayda InStitches show, and if you're interested in checking out any of the other projects that we've done, you can find them all curated on our website. We'll put a link to that in the description box down below, and if you're interested in trying any one of those other projects, all of those videos are still available, so we encourage you to check them out and give one of them a try. So let's grab our hooks, grab our yarn, we'll take our calendar blankets, and we will head on over to the craft table and add the border to our 2019 folk art calendar blanket together. In order to create our frame or a nice simple border for our folk art calendar blanket, we want about 100 grams of black and white. So 100 grams of each color, that's about 180 yards of white and 180 yards of black. Same thing, size 4, medium weight acrylic yarn. You want a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, and the hook we're using is the same one. It's a 5.5 millimeter, also known as an I or a 9 in the US, a size 5 in the UK. And of course, you want your blanket. And once you've got all that together, we can get started. We're going to begin in the top right-hand corner of our blanket. So this is the top of the sky above our forest section. Up here you've got a chain 3 and then your first double crochet, and this is the beginning of your last row of the blanket build. We're going to ignore the top of the chain 3 and we're going to join our yarn in the top of the actual stitch. So we're doing a little bit of a cheat to start off our border, but it'll make sense when we get all the way back around. We're going to start with a slip knot using our white or light yarn, and we're going to join in the top of that stitch. So ignore the chain 3 for now. Join with a slip stitch, chain 1, and into the same stitch that you joined in, you're going to work 2 single crochet. So 2 single crochet. So we're ignoring the top of the chain 3 for now. We've joined our yarn, chained 1, and worked 2 single crochet into the same stitch. You're going to skip the next stitch and work 2 single crochet into the stitch after that. Skip the next stitch, work 2 single crochet into the stitch after that. And that's all you're going to do across the top of your blanket. Work 2 single crochet into every other stitch. So there's 1 unused stitch in between each little pair of single crochets. Once you've worked that little pattern all the way across, you should still have 108 stitches, and your last 2 stitches will have been worked in the top of your last stitch. So we're going to chain 1, and we're just going to turn our blanket. So now we're working down the first long raw edge of our blanket, and we're going to continue this little single crochet pattern. You're going to identify the chain 3 or the double crochet that works as the last or first stitch of each row as you go down. And you're going to work right around it. So you're going to find the first one and work 2 single crochets around it. So you've got 2 single crochet to end the top row, 1 chain, just to kind of create a little tiny corner, and then immediately 2 single crochet worked around that first stitch. Skip to the next one and work 2 single crochet around it. Skip to the next one, make sure it's the chain 3 or the double crochet that you're getting, and work 2 single crochet around it. This way we're not trying to find loops or create stitches, we're just working 2 single crochet around every single one of those posts or chain 3s as we work down the raw edge of our blanket. After you've worked 2 single crochet around the edge of every chain 3 or double crochet that marks the end of a row, that's 80 rows, so you should have 160 single crochet worked down that first edge. Your last 2 are going to be worked around the chain 3 that's at the beginning of your first row of the blanket. So make sure you've got your 2 single crochet around that last post. We're going to chain 1 as a little tiny corner, and then we're going to repeat the same thing. So we're going to skip over top of that first, sort of the top of what would be that chain 3, and we're going to work 2 single crochet into the bottom of the first double crochet stitch. Skip 1, find the next one, and work 2 single crochet into the bottom of that stitch. So you're doing exactly what you did across the top, only now you're skipping the bottoms of stitches. So they're pretty easy to see. Just pull your stitches apart if you're having trouble seeing them. And you're going to work 2 single crochet, so skip the bottom, find the next one, work 2 single crochet into the underside of that stitch. So you're working across the bottom of your foundation chain row now. Skip a stitch, find the next one, 2 single crochet all the way across. Once you've worked 2 single crochet into the bottom of every other stitch all the way across, you should still have 108 stitches. Your last 2 will be worked into the bottom of the last actual stitch there. We're going to chain 1 just to turn the corner, and immediately you're going to work around the end, so the last stitch in that first or last row. I guess it would be the first row of our blanket, and 2 single crochet around the end stitch, whether it's a double crochet or a chain 3 of each row going up the other side of our blanket. Once you get up to the end of that row, so you've worked 2 single crochet around the edge stitch, whether it's a double crochet or a chain 2, all the way up, you should have 160 stitches. Make sure your last 2 are around the last chain 3 or double crochet. Chain 1 to turn the corner, and we're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of the first single crochet we made. There we go. So you should have a little chain 1 space on every corner, and you should have little sets of 2 single crochets worked all the way around the edge of your blanket. So far it looks nice and neat and tidy. It gives us a nice plain base. You can snip your yarn, fasten off, and take a moment to weave in the tails. Alright, for row 2, we're back up to where we started. But this time we're going to join with a slip stitch. We're going to join our yarn in that little chain 1 space that we made. So if it helps, look at your last 2 single crochet. Your little chain 1 should be right on the corner. We're going to take our black or dark yarn and make a slip knot. We're going to put our hook right through that chain 1 space. And join with a slip stitch. Chain 1, we're going to half double crochet now into that chain 1 corner space. So a half double crochet. Chain 1, and now you're going to hop over and find the next sort of you're going to skip 2 single crochet, find the little space in between the single crochet sets, and you're going to work 2 half double crochet in between the sets of 2 single crochet from the first row. So 2 half double crochet, skip 2 single crochet, and 2 half double crochet right in between. So you see I'm working right in between them. I'm not working into a stitch. I'm working right into the little space in between them. It's going to create like a little checkered effect. Skip them. I'm just working, making sure I catch I wove my little tail in, so that's that little white extra line you see there. I'm just trying to make sure that I get my hook underneath it so that I keep it up against the rest of the white stitches. 2 half double crochet, and you're going to work that all the way across. 2 half double crochet in between each set of single crochet from the row before. Once you've finished working 2 half double crochet stitches in between each set of 2 single crochet stitches from the row before, that brings us up to our last little set of singles, and then there's the chain 1 that we use to turn the corner on row 1. So we finish our last 2 half double crochet, and as we head into the corner we're going to chain 1, skip over to that little chain 1 corner that we created. We're going to work 3 half double crochet into this corner because we're creating soft corners here, not pointed ones. So 3 half double crochet and then a chain 1. So it's kind of the reverse of what we usually work in a corner. As we head into it, we chain 1, work 3 half double crochet, and then chain 1 as we leave. And that's all worked into that little chain 1 space from the first row. And then it's back to the regular pattern. You're going to work 2 half double crochet stitches underneath. So in between, I'm going to get right underneath that there, in between each set of 2 single crochet stitches from the row before. So 2 half double crochet stitches in between each set of single crochet stitches, all the way down the other side. Once you get all the way down to the next corner, it's the same thing as the last corner. You're going to skip over the last set of single crochet from the row before. There's that little chain 1 corner space that we made. You're going to work a chain 1 and then 3 half double crochets into that little chain 1 space. And then chain 1 before you leave. And you're going to do that in the next corner as well. So when you get to the corner, chain 1, 3 half double crochet, chain 1 before you leave. Then you can work this pattern all the way across the bottom. So 2 half double crochet in between each stitch, and I'm, just so you can see it, I'm stretching underneath the whole stitch just so I'm working in between the sets of single crochet. Now this isn't super important. If you end up just working through the stitch, it's okay. You're going to get the same look. I'm just being a little on the picky side. I'm working between, so I'm pulling up on those stitches so that I can get right in between them as I work down the edge of my blanket and now across the bottom. So 2 half double crochet in between each set of stitches from the previous row. When you get to the next corner, chain 1, work 3 half double crochet into that chain 1 corner space, chain 1, and then continue this little 2 half double crochet in between each set of single crochets from the row before. Like I said, I'm being very picky here. There we go. You don't have to be this picky. And I'll catch up with you when we get back around to the end of our blanket. Once you get all the way around the bottom, around the other corner, remember it's chain 1, 3 half double crochet, chain 1 into the corner spaces, and then you finish the 2 half double crochet in between each set of single crochets from the first row. That brings us back up to where we started. So we started our black with a half double crochet, chain 1. So we want to finish off in that corner by chaining 1, working 2 more half double crochets into that chain 1 space, and then we're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of the first half double crochet. So we finish off our little soft corner, and that's it for the black or the dark color that you're using. You can fasten off and take a moment to weave in those 2 short tails. We've got 1 more row. We're going back to our white or light color, and then we're done. We're back to where we started, so we're still looking at the front of our blanket. We're going to join our yarn in that little chain 1 space that occurs just after our soft corner, so that 3 half double crochet soft corner. Back to white or light yarn, make a slip knot, and we're going to join our yarn with a slip stitch right in that chain 1 space. That little tail to the back, we'll deal with it later. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to work 2 single crochets. We're back to the single crochet stitch into that same space that we joined our yarn in. So 2 single crochet into that space. And now you're going to move along and you're going to work 2 single crochet in between each set of half double crochet. So I want to get right underneath those stitches. I'll be grazing the top of my single crochet stitches. So right in between, make sure you're getting up underneath the stitches. 2 single crochet in between each stitch, and that is going to create this lovely little overlapping, kind of like a, it's not quite a checkerboard. But it almost looks like the black is worked in between these elongated white stitches. It's a really neat little effect. So 2 single crochet in between each set of 2 half double crochet from the row before, all the way across. I'll catch up with you at the next corner. Once you've finished working 2 single crochet in between each of your 2 half double crochet from the previous row, and we're getting this lovely bicolor effect. That brings you up to the corner, so our little soft corner. You're going to work 2 single crochet into that chain 1 space, into the middle of the third. So you've got your 3 half double crochets here. You're going to find the middle one and work 3 single crochet into the top of the middle half double crochet. So you're not chaining anything, you're just working 2 single crochet into the chain 1 space, popping over to the middle stitch of that soft corner, working 3 single crochet into the top of it, and then continuing around the corner to the next chain 1 stitch, work your 2 single crochet in there, and then you continue 2 single crochet in between each set of bicolors, or each set of half double crochet. So we're just sort of creating a little soft corner around the bend. And you're going to do that when you get up to the next corner. So you work 2 single crochet in between each set of 2 half double crochet. When you get up to the next corner, you work 2 single crochet into the chain 1 space. Skip over to the middle of those 3 half double crochets that makes up that soft corner. Work 3 single crochet into the top of that middle stitch. 2 more single crochet into the chain 1 space as you leave the corner, and then just continue with your little 2 single crochet 2 stitch pattern, and it'll continue to look like that. Alright, we've worked that pattern all the way up the last side. That brings us up to the corner where everything started. You're going to work your last 2 single crochet in that chain 1 space, skip over to the middle stitch of that 3 half double crochet, work 3 single crochet into the top of it, and then join with a slip stitch to the top of that single crochet that began the whole row, so that you've kind of continued your soft edge or your soft corner. And that is it. We're going to snip our yarn, fasten off, and you can take a moment to weave in your ends, and that is it for the little bicolor 2-stitch border. Oh, I just love that. What a year. I can't believe it's come to an end already. I have enjoyed this project an awful lot. I really hope the rest of you enjoyed it along with us. And that's it. That's it for another calendar blanket. We will see you guys here soon on the Jayda InStitches show. Until then, stay safe, stay crafty, and have fun finishing off your 2019 calendar blankets. Bye, guys!
Hi, everybody. Mr. InStitches here. Thank you for watching today. Here are some of our other videos you might be interested in. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.